Good morning, it's Kirsten from I Know What's Up, and today I had all kinds of plans of what I wanted to eat and cook, but I don't have the ingredients, so we improvise and we work with what we have. I was thinking, some nice warm oatmeal, but my milk is 10 days past its expiration, so I think I better let that one go. So I decided I'm going to do eggs and some kimchi. And so, yeah, let's do it. So I washed my eggs because they're from farmer's market. And I just think, when you're relying on other people to do things for you, it's probably better to just go ahead and help out and wash yourself. Better to be safe than sorry. So I've had my own eggs before, and so I'm not 100% thrilled with these ones, and I'll tell you why. The yolk looks beautiful, which you'll see in a minute, but the eggshell is a bit thin, and that means that they're missing some kind of nutrients, and you want a thicker eggshell because you would like to see. Well, that gives it the ability really to keep bacteria and stuff out. So they just crack, not great. But we work with what we got. I'm gonna grab some butter. I got some butter from farmer's market, and it's not like the Kerrygold that I always use. It's like an Italian butter, and we experiment and find things, but it says it's a product of Italy, but it just doesn't have that nice yellow color. It's very white. So I was just wondering why. I'll have to do some research on that. Give me one sec. So I like to cook my eggs in butter. So I just cut off a big chunk, pop it in the pan. Turn on the heat to a medium low. Wait for that to melt. We'll crack my eggs. I wanted some hot chocolate, but my milk isn't good, so I'm going to do tea. And one of my absolute favorites, as you know, is Earl Grey, but I love this brand, Choice. It's organic, and it just smells so amazing. It's the best one that I've found, where I can open it up and just enjoy. Sometimes it's better than others. This one isn't my best, but it's there, and I smell more of a black tea smell. So. And you really get it out of this more than you do this. But the thing I love about it is Earl Grey has bergamot in it, and so the smells, the taste, the texture, it's all an experience that I enjoy. So once you put this in the hot water, you kind of lose that scent, that smell. Not with all teas. Some teas hang on to it and they smell lovely, but for some reason Earl Grey, for me, loses the smell. So I always like to get that smell in. Oh, I love this. I love this cup I found. It says, eat healthy, work hard, exercise daily, love more, worry less, think positively, and hope. Crack these eggs. What I do is I like to have a fried egg with some kimchi. If you don't know what that is, it's fermented like cabbage, maybe some celery or whatever. It's fermented, so it's really good for your gut. It boosts your immune system. It gives you good probiotics and enzymes, and it really gives you like a good microbiome in your gut. Very healing food, sort of similar to maybe like bone broth. This is why when your mama said eat chicken soup when you're sick, it helps you because you're drinking all those nutrients that those vegetables cooked in instead of straining it off. So that's why that is actually true. We need those good fats to help our brains. Our vitamins that our brain needs are, I call it KAD, K-A-D-E. We need fats to help them cross our plasma membrane, which are a bunch of fatty lipids. And so when we eat these kinds of foods, avocados, oils, butters, we're helping getting those vitamins to our brain. So it's important to include good fats in your diet in order to give good brain health. All our cells have cell membrane consisting of a fatty lipid bilayer. This allows the cell to control what passes through it. The fat-soluble vitamins, KAD, are able to pass through it with the help of a diet rich in healthy fat. So what I do is I like to get I like raw cheese, and this is a very crumbly cheese, so it tastes, it's a cheddar, but for whatever reason it's super crumbly. So when I cut it, it just kind of does its thing. But if I put that over my hot egg, it kind of melts nicely. Then we just get some kimchi. We have a really great place called Fermentation Farms here, and they make the kimchi. And this is what it looks like. It's, cabbage, maybe some peppers, celery, and it's got kind of a zingy taste to it. It's got turmeric, which is very anti-inflammatory and also immune boosting. And for whatever reason, when you ferment something, you get extra benefit. Soy, I don't think, is a very healthy food. Eating fermented foods and adding that to your diet is a really good thing. And I'm going to say, the reason soy is not really good for you is it's a lot of estrogen in it. And especially, I think, for men, and for women, especially women in my age group, too much estrogen in your diet, it can really upset your hormonal balance. So it's a concern, I think, for people who are vegetarian or vegans because they tend to eat a lot of soy. So implementing other options you might find beneficial, because I believe these kinds of things can actually, too much hormone can actually affect your mood. So you might find yourself feeling a little depressed or whatever. So kind of reducing, I'm not saying you have to completely eliminate. I am someone that firmly does not believe in dieting at all. And I really believe in getting back to the basics. I think I think it's just silly to me, and I'm by no means an expert like some of these people who promote these things, and they really believe what they're doing. But, saying you can't eat something like grain, which people have been eating forever and years, I think it's better to say something like, the food we have today isn't the same as it was back then. So if you're lucky enough to find something that hasn't been manipulated, that's natural, grown in really healthy soils, organic, you're going to get the benefit. If you're going to eat meat, you need grass-fed meat, because the animal is getting things from the grass, the minerals, the vitamins, and everything from the grass, and then that's being passed on to you, as well as, you know, the sunlight that affects the grass and everything. So it's really that grass. And a lot of our cattle is eating corn. It's eating subsidized corn by the government. And we won't go, I'll just give you a little bit of a political opinion. The reason subsidizing can be bad is because now you've got a crop that's overproduced, and then they have to put it in everything. So that's how we ended up with all these food with corn in it. Corn, 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 corn. In your fries, in your hamburger, because the cow ate corn. There's corn syrup in your drink. Did you know when you eat fast food, you are consuming a lot of corn? From the cow who is fed corn to much of the contents within that hamburger, you are consuming a lot of corn. So it's just corn, corn, corn. And then it tends to be something like genetically modified corn, which is not good for your gut. And for someone like me who has gut issues, that probably hiking back to my childhood because I wasn't nursed, and so I never got that fermented colostrum in my gut. I have to be careful with what I eat, and I know what works for me and what doesn't, and so I follow that. So yeah, so I would just, on this one, I would just take home the idea of getting some fermented foods into your diet to help your gut flora. Okay, thanks for watching. Okay, one last thing. It's really important to implement things like honey in your diet. And so I've got a raw honey from farmer's market. They got it from bees who pollinated sage. There's several different kinds, but this is kind of a light one. It's really beautiful, and it's really good in tea. So I'm going to add this to my tea. And it's important to get local honey, because that helps people with your allergies. So if you buy store-bought honey, then you're going to be not getting the benefit of the natural environment that the bees work within. So get some raw honey for your tea, and enjoy what the fruits of what God has given us. Beautiful, wonderful tasting foods. Eating is and should be a really enjoyable experience. You shouldn't deny yourself things that make sense. So things like honey and good fats, butter, those are good for you, and I want you to start eating them.